Hi, everybody. Welcome on board. Today I'm very pleased because we will receive a guest star, a friend of mine. We are very close. It's Robert King Building. It's named Dangerous Bob, of course, the well known, the famous Dangerous Bob. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy. We welcome him tonight because we will have for sure a lot of anecdotes. He knows the movies, he builds some lot of things, so sure he will give us secret tonight. So we will start, as always, with our friend Kevin Bosch in LA. But just before, I want to talk about the auction of the day, because as you know, we have daily auctions, every day an auction for Team Fox, of course. And today, it's about some slides, Michael J. Fox slides, personal one, coming rightly from the studio of photography. So here, some different slides from celebrity photo and only personal ones. So not Back to the Future, not about the movie, but about Michael J. Fox family. He, his wife, his son, his family, his mother, etc. So very personal slides about Michael J. Fox. And there are 4 auctions. Rightly, you could buy because it's a direct price. So you could buy 4 lot of 10 slides. And there is also another lot of 10 other slides, which is in auction. So the auction ends in about 30 minutes. So have a look at the auction in my Facebook profile and be the winner. All for our pal Michael J, as you know. So now we will start with Kevin, rightly from LA. Up, I'm sure he's yet in the cast. So Kevin, up. We'll start with you, my friend. Let me put little tuck, and I think it's okay for all of us. So right now, Kevin Bush from Los Angeles. Kevin.
Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, the sound is
Hi.
well. How are
Hi
you
guys.
tonight?
I'm good. Well, it's
Yeah.
morning for me.
Morning, but the end of
Uh
the day for me.
yeah. So I'm here today. So as some of you know, I've been going in order of the movie. Yesterday we went to 1955
Mhm.
Line Estates, and after that, Marty goes to the courthouse square. We're not going to do that today, but then after that, he goes he follows George. So we are
Mhm.
on Bushnell Avenue here
Bush, no
in
life.
Pasadena, where it
The
is
famous
all
avenue.
yes, all the 1955 houses are here. Behind me, you'll see this is actually the George McFly tree. Uh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
spin this around here.
That's the reason because that's the reason the avenue is very famous because there's a lot of houses
Yeah,
from the movie just in one avenue. So
it's a
yeah.
lot of it's a lot. A lot of movies are shot here. There's a lot of classic movies that are shot here because these are very classic looking houses. They're very nice. They're very
And
pretty.
famous street.
So there's been a lot of movies, and one other movie that was shot here is
I will
notable
put
with Back to the
you
Future
full
too.
screen.
Huh?
I will put you in full screen as you're right.
As you can
So
see, yeah, I'm
people
going to
could,
show you the street a little bit here. But you get a lot. I believe the house from Halloween is not this street, but in this neighborhood. The house from Teen Wolf, a lot of houses. There's too many to name. It's almost like a backlot for the movie studios to just come to South Pasadena in this neighborhood and shoot here. So I'm just gonna start in order of the events of the movie, and then we will have a special guest here at the end.
hmm.
Um, but
Oh,
essentially, this little street here, this little um, driveway here. This is where Marty, I believe this is where Marty ran. There were bushes, and he ran across this way, and he ran down this way. And you see this shot. You see this house in the movie for a little bit
uh-huh.
as he's running, and then you also see this house, which is also a notable house for the fan community. And then this is around the spot that Marty looks up and he sees George up in the tree.
Oh
Now
yeah.
this is the actual tree, and then that is Lorraine's house over there. And we'll walk to it a little bit in a minute. Um, So this is the tree. The actual branch that George was on is not one of these branches. From what I understand, it was a fake branch because none of these really faced the right way, and I think it was just safer to have like a fake branch up there than having actually Crispin Glover up
Mm-hmm.
there. Um, we also see. I'm going to step out on the street. We see this house. This is the George McFly tree house, not tree house, but the George McFly house
That
with
was
the tree.
behind. That's
Um,
behind the tree. Yeah.
and we do see this shot. We do see this house when Marty's on the when George
Exactly.
falls
The
and Marty
monkey was shot.
falls across, and then
Mhm.
Sam Baines comes out
Yeah.
and yells for Stella. You see the house here,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, this is the same view as this one at the moment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This that view that I just did that was from the movie. So this house is also notable for us in the fan community, is because even though it appears in the movie just for a second, none of the characters live there. Um, there's actually a John McDonald is a part of the fan community. He owns this house, and for the last maybe 10, 15 years, he's been, he's the one that welcomes people here when they
Oh.
come out. He has a documentary called Back to the Future on Bushnell,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people come out and climb the tree. And he made a documentary about all the people that come out here and take a picture, climb the tree.
Uh-huh.
And literally right before I pulled up here, or when I drove up here, there were two guys out here taking pictures, and John comes out and tries to greet everybody. So he's going to meet us a little later. He's going to tell us a little bit of a history of his involvement here and a little bit of some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this is
That's a guy.
yeah. I got into just a little thing. I got into an argument with somebody on Instagram because somebody posted the picture, the still of the movie
Uh-huh.
from this shot, and then it was like it was one of those pictures where they put the picture in the picture, and the guy on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram was like, "That's not an important house in Back to the Future. Nobody cares about that house. I'm a huge fan, and I don't care about that house." And I said, "We've had so many fans that come out here and climb this tree and take a picture with this house. Like, are you sure you're a huge fan? Because a lot of other fans do care about this house." Um,
The other
so here we
one.
go. Yeah, so none of the characters live there, but it's still an important house for us because it's the house that
Mhm.
the peeping tom tree is. So here
It
is
seems that it didn't change a lot. No.
no, this whole that's kind of one of the appeals of this neighborhood is that it hasn't changed. This is the way it
Mm-hmm.
looked probably in the 50s, the way it looked in the 80s, and this is the way it looks now. It's a very nice, well kept, well maintained neighborhood. A lot of these parking spots are empty because there's like tree trimming done, so it's you can tell the whole neighborhood's taken
Oh.
care of really nice. The whole area of this is Pasadena, so it's actually really near Doc's mansion. So that's in a way it kind of matches that aesthetic. Um, so this is Lorraine's house. They didn't shoot it inside. You see the I don't want to be a creep, but you see the that's the window that George would have seen in. Um, so in terms of the name of the street, I mean obviously this is Bushnell Street. Um, but inside the movie, for a long time, I've been calling this street Hill Valley Street simply because in the um, in the call sheet, this is the first location that they filmed in Back to the Future. And in the call sheet, it says Hill Valley Street. So I always thought this is, I know it probably means a street in Hill Valley, but to me, it's always meant this is Hill Valley Street. I recently found out that George's house and this house actually have a different name, a street name. So my theory that all these houses that George and Biff and Lorraine lived in the same neighborhood was wrong. They lived in different streets, but that's, you learn something new every day. But I always just assumed because this was all the same street that they all lived, that they were all neighbors, but they're not neighbors.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we're coming up here to George's house. George's house is just one block. I'm sorry, one house down from Lorraine's. Um, and actually, there's somebody working on the house right now, and there's also a lawnmower. So if you can't hear me, I apologize.
No
Um,
problem.
but here's very distinctively George's house.
Yeah.
It's actually a really beautiful house. It has
Wow.
that stonework. It has,
Yeah.
uh, and then what's interesting is you see there's a gentleman working up
The
on the thing above.
architecture is very different of the others.
Yeah, yeah. But you see here, they're redoing this area here, and there's a cut
Huh?
scene where you see Marty leave George's room in his yellow radiation suit and walk across this way and hop into Doc's car and they drive off. So uh, again, nothing was shot inside of these houses, especially this one. But yeah, and then they actually did shoot in the backyard here. we can't go there, but this is the scene. Actually, it was this scene here. This is George and Marty walking down here, and he's like, "Hey, George, wait up, wait up!" And then they, and then they walk up. I'm too far.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, "Why do you keep following me around?" And then they
Uh-huh.
go and they walk up to the house, and it's Mystery Science Theater 3000. So yeah, you can probably, if you look at the movie, you can probably see Lorraine's house in the back shot of that movie. But yeah, I know you guys. A quick little side note. I know you guys are
Very
Dangerous
interesting.
Bob.
Yeah.
Dangerous
Not
Bob is
forget
joining
that.
you later, and I wanted to show. This is my car. I have
Oh, the
my
license
license.
plate.
So the
Orange.
funny, as I walk over to Biv's house and tell you the funny story about that, is that he a couple years ago when I first moved to California, I had that still had that license plate on. I haven't changed my California plates, Florida plates to California, and I was shooting a web series with Joe Wassler, and Bob Dangerous Bob was a guest, and so he came to Joe's house, and he goes, "Hey, whose car is it with that license plate outside?" And I known Dangerous Bob since 2015. I'm like, "Oh, that's mine." He goes, I invented that. I made that. He told me the whole, and that might have been the first time that he told that story. He tells it all the time now, but it was such a revelation for me. So we took a picture with it because I was like, "You made this plate, and now it's on my car." So we took a picture with it. Uh, so the other story here, as I walked to Biff's house, is that
The same.
Lorraine's house.
I wear the
Yeah,
T-shirt.
yeah, yeah. That's what made me realize. I wish I had that shirt. I wanted to buy it. Um, so Lorraine's house, from what I understand, is also the house from Teen Wolf. Um, and
Ah,
the
that's
interesting thing
mm-hmm.
about that is that if you look at
Was Teen Wolf shoot at the same time of Back to the Future or
it was
just?
shot right before Back to the Future, and
Mm.
that if you read Michael J. Fox's book, he talks
Uh-huh.
about how he was shooting Teen Wolf. It was a silly movie where he had like yak hair on his face, and down the street, the new Steven Spielberg production was scouting locations, and he was
Oh.
like, "Man, I really wish I could work on a Steven Spielberg movie,"
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't realize that that was the movie that he had unknowingly had to pass on, and that he would be working on a few
Mm-hmm.
uh, a few months or a few weeks later. So yeah, he was here filming Teen Wolf, wishing he was on Back to the Future, and
Uh-huh.
then he was on Back to the Future a little bit later. But it was that same shoot. So here we are. We have Biff's house. This is his grandmother Gertrude. So so George's house is on Sycamore Street according to a novelization, and Biff's house is on Oakhurst according to the movie. So
Oh.
so yeah, so my theory that all these houses that all these guys live on the same street is shot.
Mm-hmm.
Biff lives on Oakhurst, George lives on Sycamore, and as far as I'm concerned, Lorraine lives on Hill Valley Street.
Okay.
Um, yeah, here's George's house. You can see here's a little driveway that goes back to the garage. Very
Mm-hmm.
distinctive house.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. It has
Yeah.
some of that rock work. Um, they like put stuff in the yard and stuff to
Uh-huh.
make it more, more like a Biff house. At the time, it was meant to look like a low end house, but obviously all these houses in this neighborhood are like very beautiful and very expensive. So, um, but yeah, here it is. So then this is the walk that Biff takes when he leaves his house, um, and he's walking here, and
Yeah, he
he
was
and he
working.
encounters those kids
Yeah, with the ball.
with the
Mm-hmm.
ball. Yeah, let me get a little further away. Encounters the kids with the ball, and then he stops here and he goes, "Oh, you want this ball back?" We think he's just playing with him, but he actually is really mean. He throws the ball and he throws it up into that balcony. So
Oh.
again, this is another example
Yeah.
of the filmmakers using the natural geography of the
Mm-hmm.
locations to kind of have fun. Like this house has that balcony. They probably were like, let's have him throw, the ball into the balcony. A fun thing about this whole street and this house in particular is that this street has always been very welcoming to fans. Like there's been, you know, during the events they come and it's one thing to be tolerant, but these folks are actually do a lot of stuff for the fans. Like John McDonald, who's always the gentleman in the Peeping Tom Treehouse, has always been very nice and very open. When we in 2015, when we had all these fans here and all the stuff here, um, the people in these houses, George McFly's, Lorraine's, they came out or they were talking to people, and in particular this house, which is a house that's in the movie, but it's not a, it's kind of like John's house. It's a house that's seen in the movie, but it's not anybody lives there. They had a fun thing where they had a ball, and the kids and the family would be up there, and they would throw the ball down, and then the fans would throw the ball up like like Biff did. So I think that was one of my favorite things about that year, was just how the people in this neighborhood were so involved they were so involved in making the experience fun for us. But yeah, I'd always remember that they were up there throwing the ball down, and then people were throwing it back up. It was so much fun. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'm gonna wait out here for John. John was gonna come out and talk to us for a minute.
Yeah, we'll see if there's some questions.
Yeah, when there is a behind the scenes video that somebody took from one of these houses when they were shooting part 2. You can probably find it online, but you see Doc riding his bicycle into Biff's house and stuff like that. So when Biff leaves his house in his car, when old Biff and young Biff pull in, you see him going down the street into that house.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go. I'm gonna go look at the Peeping Tom tree, because usually that's one of the main things people come here and see. I mean, they see all the houses, but the Peeping Tom tree is such a very specific. Back in 2010, when I came here, I climbed the tree and then I broke off a branch. Not one of the big ones, but a little branch. But then that's what I became known for. Like, hey, he broke the tree. Yeah, so here you see people usually, when they climb up, they'll climb on this tree to take a picture, but obviously, or in this branch, but obviously that's not that doesn't match what's in the movie, but yeah.
It matches, but yeah. No, it is not. The most famous tree of America, I don't know.
Maybe one of them.
Maybe, yeah, one of those most famous.
Yeah.
A lot of people from a lot of countries come here.
When we had the events here, Back to the Future is such a weird movie, guys, if we can be honest, it's so weird. There's so many weird elements. And just the fact that it's like there's a Peeping Tom tree and the people come and climb this tree. When we had the events here, we had we used to do, I think I mentioned that. Well, I haven't mentioned it because we haven't gone there yet. But we would do, a bunch of cosplayers would come out, like it'd be Marty's a dog. So we would do recreations of the scenes with those cosplayers. So we recreated Marty running down this street and looking up, but it was a whole bunch of Martys. It was there has to be a video somewhere. A whole bunch of Martys running out and running down this way, and then being like, "He's a Peeping Tom." And then there's a picture, and it's on my Instagram if anybody wants to look at it, where a whole bunch of Martys are just down here, like on the the way that Marty is laying on the ground. They are all laying down here.
Wow, what a celebration!
Huh?
What a celebration!
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, if anybody has questions or wants to bring anything up, I'm just gonna wait for John here. When he's ready to come out, he has a few stories.
Man from France who asked if it's easily to take some photo in the road. I think it will be. If you one day you come there, I think there's no problem to take some photos of the houses.
Yeah.
If you get so close, it's okay.
Yeah. This street in particular, since it's so well known for movies, like if you go to Marty's house, that house is the most famous house in that entire neighborhood or city because that's the only thing that's ever been filmed there. Here, Back to the Future is one of the dozens of films that have been shot in this neighborhood. So if I come and take a picture in front of Lorraine's house, I'm either taking a picture in front of Lorraine's house, I'm taking a picture in front of Teen Wolf's house, or anything. There's a Halloween house. I think the house from Old School might be around here. It's so many
used in a movie or
yeah. So in this street in particular is very, very, very friendly to people to come in. Obviously be respectful, don't walk on people's property. But also people just come here. Like I came here with a friend who's not into the movies, and she's just like, this is a beautiful street to walk around in. This is a beautiful neighborhood to check out. So some of the other places I know that, for example, Marty's house, they've gotten used to it. The homeowners have gotten used to people going and hanging out or taking pictures, but it's still a little weird. The other day when we were there and the homeowner saw me, he's like, Back to the Future, right? So sometimes, I think they still think it's kind of weird but funny. Strickland's house, I don't know what the deal is. I've gone and taken pictures there. I don't think they mind, but obviously I try not to get too close because I assume Strickland lives there. There is Jennifer McFly's house. I haven't been there yet, but I hear that the homeowner doesn't like it when people come. And then the 2015, or the homeowner has asked that people don't go or whatever. So I've been hesitant to go and visit. If I go, I'd probably just stay across the street.
Yeah, sure.
The 2015 Hill Dale is actually a gated community. You can't get into it. I drove by it the other day, and it is gated, and it's not an easy way to get in. But I might try to do it at some point later in the future. Not this week, but some point later. And then, but yeah, in general, a lot of houses, as long as you're respectful and you're on the public street, you'll be fine. Let me see. Oh, here comes John.
But it's important to say, to repeat what you have just said, to be respectful of the owners of each house, because you have to respect them if they don't want to have pictures. Hey.
Hey, this is John. So I took Mitch. I'm off of headphones, so you might have to speak up a little so I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello,
and then
John.
John can't see you, but he can hear you. So John, tell us a little bit about your involvement here in Bushnell Avenue and the Back to the Future franchise.
Well, I could go on for hours about that, but basically we moved into this house in 1993, and almost from the first day forward, we saw people lingering around our tree here, and then walking up and down the street, lying in the street. I went out and asked them what they were doing here, and they go, "Oh, we're just visiting your tree," which was used in the greatest movie ever made in the history of cinema. And I said, "Really? Citizen Kane was done here?" And they said, "No, Back to the Future." So after that, I waited about 10 years, and then I started doing videotaping of people visiting the tree. And back in 2010, released the little documentary called Back to the Future on Bushnell Avenue. So yeah, here we are. We're going to be moving out of this house in about 2 weeks and moving to Seattle. So hopefully the new owner will be the new keeper of the tree and be friendly to everyone who comes and visits.
Yeah, I think there has to be a clause in the contract when they buy the house that they have to be friendly to the tree.
I asked the realtor about that, and she says, "No way. Let go, John. You got to let go."
Well, I told John that I mentioned it in our small group about it, John, and then there's people already who are like, "Oh, I would buy that house." I mean, obviously people say it all the time, but people who I know could afford to buy this house are now know. So maybe a fan will buy it, and maybe it'll become a thing that fans can come and stay here on Hill Valley Street. And then maybe John, when he comes to LA, can stay in his old house again. But do you have any more stories here? Yeah, when I pulled up,
well, we have a new street now. Many of you have been here, but maybe you saw a post I did on Facebook about less than a year ago. They repaved the entire street and put in new gutters and curbs. And while the cement was still wet on this curb here, I want to show you what I did.
Sure, thank you.
Check this out, guys.
Oh, it's covered. Okay, it's covered with leaves now because we just got down here from Seattle. I haven't. Okay, so.
You guys see this?
Wow.
George McFly fell from this tree. So this is John. John memorialized Back to the Future. A lot of people have asked me during this tour if any of the locations have any like plaques or inscriptions. I'm like, no, it's LA. Every 7-Eleven has been filmed something. So this is one of the only places that's a Back to the Future location that has an inscription. Thanks to John.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Was there anything else you wanted to share with us?
Well, we're going to be looking for buyers for the house, and I was thinking, I don't know what position Crispin Glover is in, and you probably would rather just forget about Back to the Future. But wouldn't it be neat if Crispin Glover bought this house? And then, anyway, that's not going to happen.
I think somebody mentioned that in the group that I've shared it to,
really?
and I didn't get it at first. Like, why would Crispin? Oh yeah, he fell off this tree. Has anybody? I know a lot of people have climbed the tree. Has anybody fallen off the tree, either on purpose or by accident?
You do see in that little documentary I did, that's at bttfbushnell.com. You can see the trailer. Not too many people watch beyond the trailer because it costs $1.99.
It's worth seeing it, guys. I've seen it a couple times.
Anyway, so you will see someone who fell out of the tree, and you thought they were going to die. But anyway, it was a guy from Italy, a DeLorean owner. There's 3 guys in Italy who all own DeLoreans, and they've come many years. I mean, they keep coming back. So there's something else I want to show you.
One more
It has
thing.
to do with this street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they were working on the street, they had to cut out these sections that went deep down all the way through the old asphalt.
This was recently. Recently, I did some work here.
And they had to do the water connections. So I asked them they were cutting out one section over here, which is exactly where Michael J. Fox was lying in the street, where people often will lie and do photos.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it, but here's our water meter here. So it's just about lined up. I kind of knew from the cracks you could see on the old pavement. So I said, can I take those chunks of asphalt and keep them? And they thought I was crazy. And so I took them and I brought them back here.
John said, of course I'm crazy. I'm a Back to the Future fanatic.
You're the keeper of the movie, John.
Yeah. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
So this is what John did. He told me this recently when I was trying to come here. He's like, oh, I have some of this stuff here.
Wow. What a treasure.
Michael J. Fox's head laid right here.
Right here.
No, I don't know for sure, but you got the whole pile. This is the entire section.
This is the whole section of
all different size pieces.
the screen used.
Little pet rock size pieces, if anybody remembers pet rocks.
Yes.
And then the bigger chunks. This has paint on it from where they outlined where the water section had to be taken out. So I invite anyone who would like to have a chunk of asphalt sitting on their mantle.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't this be great looking on your mantle in your living room?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. They can come by and just come back to the side yard here and just take a chunk. If I'm here, I'll try to talk to you, but there's a good pile of it right here.
Yeah, there's a joke that we make about stuff like this, but it's like Star Wars fans. They're like, we have our lightsabers, and Star Wars Back to the Future fans are like, I have a piece of asphalt. Like that's what makes it different.
Yeah, I think it would really stand out. You could get a nice little stand for it, put it under glass, and people would say, "What is that ugly thing in there?" And you go, and then that would.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to have to take a piece for myself for our new house in Seattle. I have to remember to do that. So save a piece for me.
Yeah.
Save a piece for me, exactly.
Okay. Anything else? Let's head back over here to the tree. And I think that's all I have for you, Mitch. Me and John
it's
here.
incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, we have 2 minutes more, but it was incredible. Thanks very much, John, for his.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, John, for showing us those treasures.
And the tree.
Wow.
Take care.
Famous tree, wow, and famous people. Thank you very much, guy. It was wow.
Thank you, guys.
Work. Thank you. See
Bye.
you tomorrow. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kevin. Bye-bye.
See you later.
See you later. Bye-bye. Thanks. Wow, it was incredible. An incredible story with John and Kevin. We have a special guest today as John, and he shows some treasure. Wow, he's the keeper of the story. Incredible. And now I will just put the banner on play up. And now we are, firstly, we have to continue to donate because it's important to make donation for Michael J. And of course, we'll speak about the auction because it will end in 1 minute. So just before welcoming Mr. Dangerous Bob, you could have a look at the auction on my Facebook profile. It's all for the Team Fox. You could bid or you could buy because there is 4 lots for buy and 1 lot for auction today. So just have a look at my profile. It's ending in 60 seconds. So we will wait. And just for waiting, guys, I will launch a little video of my friend, Dangerous Bob. So go into profile, make a bid. You have 30 seconds more to make the last higher bid. and then watch the teaser of Mr. Robert King Whitting. Here it is. Hey, Mr. Dangerous Bob. Oh, yeah, Team Fox. Team Fox as always.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
There you are. There you are.
It's a
I
long
see you're dressed just like a prop master. You got your orange jersey on. You got your t-shirt.
Exactly.
You got your hat on.
Yeah, same
It's
here.
Great Young and Dangerous
Always the
prop
same
master
goal.
dress, right there.
Always the same goal. Donate, and raise funds.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And we still have some of these for sale, don't we, Nancy? On .net, you know. So,
A lot of trophies and
hey, look,
photos behind it.
there's Michael's picture there from Family
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, so Michael, wow, incredible.
Hey, I have a
Thanks a
surprise.
lot.
I have a surprise for you if you like. We have these new shirts. Look at these.
Wow, a paradox shirt. We
From the
put in.
parking passes that I made we sold the last original parking pass for Heads of Departments on Back to the Future on the Paradox. We had them on Back to the Future, and we had T-shirts made by our local artist, and we are going to. I think we have 22 of them. And they're on dangerousbob.net now for the Fox Foundation. All profits, like your 88 Mile Per Hour Association, go directly to the Fox Foundation for research. And until the end of this month, every one we sell, I'm going to throw in, well, I only have 5 of them, a Stuntman's from my Stuntman Brothers 50th anniversary of Stunts Unlimited bracelet. Hey, I got one too. And a Stuntman's decal, stick on your windows. Got them on my truck. And we'll throw those in the first 5 we sell. And up until the end of the month, everything we sell, the profits will go to France, to Maestro Mitch Garcia's 88 Mile Per Hour Association. So we're going to donate that over there to you, to France.
Okay, wow.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. Incredible. So, wow, we will start because I know you have a lot of secrets to explain, and we want to know those secrets. And, today it will be something special because we've known each other such a long time, and I want to play with you. We will put some games. One of the games is named the Cheesy Gordito Show. The other one, something like that. So we'll try to explain people and to see what's about. So,
are we going to tell the story how you got the name Cheesy Gordito?
Exactly. Yeah.
Should I tell it?
I will tell the presentation.
So we go to France, and Nancy and I are literally chauffeured around. We live with Mitch and the Maestro and his family for a week. We see just about everything you can possibly see in France. And we drink wine, and we ride in DeLoreans around the Champs-Élysées. I can't ever say it. And he comes over for 1885, Terry and Oliver Haller's 1885. Oh, there I am for the interview in Paris. I had to dress up. Mitch said, bring a suit. Yeah, right. I live in Hooterville. Where am I getting a suit, you know? And so he takes us to the Moulin Rouge. I mean, all the fine restaurants. Lorraine's restaurant in this little town, you know, the Germans had been in, and we're more food than you can eat. One of my grandmother's being French Basque towns, I forget the name of that, when we did the castle and came down, and we had like a 12-course meal for lunch with like a whole lamb, you know, and $1,000 bottles of French wine. So Mitch comes over. I pick him up at the airport for the first 1885 up in Columbia, Terry and Oliver Haller's deal, and in Columbia Hill Valley, I take him to first thing off, right off the bat. We're out of the airport. We get out of the city through all the traffic, Oakdale, little town before we head up the hill. I take him to Taco Bell, and he orders a cheesy gordito. I mean, this thing was like this big and topped with his plastic cheese, and he devoured it. He hadn't eaten some ranch, I don't think. Anyway, he got the nickname Cheesy Gordito Maestro Mitch Garcia at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
No one can say Cheesy Gordito and sound romantic like you can.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's the Cheesy Gordito stories.
It was the Cheesy Gordito story, yeah. So we'll have a look at all of the hits in which you work on, because you work on a lot of movies, DB, of course. Oh, it shows the screen. And yeah, you work with a lot of talented actors, like Robert, like Pacino, Michael J, a lot of people. So
Tony Perkins, one of my favorites.
You as people can see, you work on a lot of movies, not only Back to the Future, but Harry of the Hendersons, Scarface, of course, Psycho, 2 and 3, I think. I haven't put, because you have many, many more movies, and Brubaker and Justice for All. So just a little word about the collaboration you have done with Pacino, Redford, and Michael J. Some few words about the guys, just to explain people how funny it was to work with those guys on the movie set.
Well, they were all good shows, all paid over scale, being a feature film. And the more Redford movies you did, or Al Pacino movies, or Tony Perkins and Amblin films, because I did 4 or 5 for Steven, the more money you get when you go in and cut your deal after you get hired. And I had a question from a Dustin Graham on how do prop masters get their job. So Dustin, this is the answer. You interview. You look for who's hiring. You look in Variety, Hollywood Reporter. You call friends. You call the union. Who's hiring? You go by their production offices, and you call and get an appointment, and you go in. Johnny and I on our features, and you interview. You bring your resume, and they ask you questions. Like on Butch and Sundance, Richard Lester. The reason we got hired, Butch and Sundance, the early years, he did all the Beatles movies and the Four Musketeers, and funny little Englishman. He knew more about American history than most Americans. But he asked us the question in the interview. Oh, I think it was Warner Brothers, wasn't it? Yeah. And he said, so let's say we're in the middle of Arizona, or the middle of actually New Mexico and Colorado, and I want a 50-piece period Western marching band. And it's Wednesday, and I need it today. What are you going to do? Or tomorrow. I need it tomorrow, he said. And every prop master that interviewed before us, 20, 30 other prop masters interviewed, said, don't worry, I'll get it. And Johnny and I looked at each other and went, yeah. And Johnny told him exactly what I would have said, because he was my boss. And he said, you'll either wait till we get it or you'll shoot without it. And he goes, you're hired. You're the only ones that gave me the honest answer. Because nobody's 60-piece, 50-piece, a 10-piece period marching band in one day to Colorado or Arizona from LA, you know. So that got us hired. When we interviewed, Dustin asked, how do you get your jobs? On Back to the Future, we were probably one of 30 people. Most prop masters don't even take their assistants. I was a set prop master, and Johnny and I always interviewed together. And,
wait a little second. I think there is another guest who joined us just to say something. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, DB.
Hey, man.
I just wanted to say hi. I just finished the video before this.
And I was going to tell a story later, something I've never said now that you're here, about George's bike.
Oh, yeah.
In 55. I actually watched the movie this morning or the other day, and I wrote this down because I don't think I've ever told this story, and it came to mind. And now that you're here, because you were just at the house, my house, that was a 1955, maybe a 56 Schwinn Phantom. Now try to find a perfectly brand new looking Schwinn or anything for that period. We contacted the Schwinn company and their museum, and they sent us out. They faxed us pictures of it because you didn't have all this stuff today that we have. And said, yeah, we'll take the Phantom. What's it worth? How much to buy it? They said, well, it's $50,000. You'll have to have an insurance policy for $50,000 on it. And we'll send it out. If there's one scratch, when we get it back, you're going to lose the 50 grand. I have never taken better care of a prop other than a firearm in my life. You lose a firearm and the FBI comes and frisks you in your sleep and tears your house apart and contacts all your friends and rips their house apart, when I had my machine gun permits. So it's like, I took care of that bike, put furniture pads on it in the prop truck and wrapped it up, put it on fall pads. And, it was like, I wouldn't take it off there. And as soon as we were done shooting it and we were out of the McFly house, that went in our warehouse till we got the okay at the end of the show to send it back. So sorry to break off, but you made me think of that today, Kev. It was great.
No, that's a good story.
Yeah.
You can think of that when you see
55 Schwinn Phantom. Everything worked, man. The horn, the light. I mean, I was wanting to bag it myself, but I'm not going to put my job in jeopardy. And, you'd never work.
Was it only used to lean up against this tree here, or was
he rides away with it at the end, and I'm standing behind camera going, "Don't set it down, man!" And I ran down the street. I'm running down the sidewalk on the other side, and I'm running down the sidewalk to grab it. Crispin and says, "Cut!" And I ran over and grabbed it. I even got off.
Was he riding it too in the courthouse square outside the cafe, or is that a different bike?
I think so. I'd have to say, imagine so. It's the only one he rode in 55. Okay. So yeah, thank you. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, there's so much about this you all know more than I do.
So I just wanted to say hi, and I wanted to remind DB that we actually met this month 5 years ago. We're going back at the at Universal. Oh, that was so much fun. We got into the trams, and you just sit next to anybody, and I just happened to sit next to DB. And he just was really excited. I didn't know who he was. He just seemed like a really excited guy. And then halfway through, he's like, "I'm the prop master." And I thought that was just like his name. Like that he just went by prop master. And like, some people are like T-Bone. That was his nickname. But no, he's the prop master. So I just want to say hi, DB. And I'll leave you guys to finish the interview.
Okay. But I actually have some pictures of that. If I can find them, I'll post them for you, Kev. All of the tram. I'm trying to remember who else was around us, but there was you and
I met so many people on that tram who I'm still really good friends with, just on that tram, which says a lot about the Back to the Future fans, that we could make friends, just people sitting next to us on a tram,
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I'll leave you. I gotta get going.
Man, thanks for coming, man. Great video in the beginning. Really great.
Thank you.
As usual.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
And great job, man. Great reportage. I've seen Paul JJ Cohen, who plays Kinhead.
Oh, JJ.
Yeah, JJ is on the line, I see.
Is he online?
I'm sitting
today.
Boy.
Hey, JJ, we're praying for you, my brother.
Oh, happy
I sent your message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and a friend.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. A lot of people are
Best
watching.
time we've ever had, Nancy and I have ever had in Scotland was with Sherv, David Ferguson, Craig Peggy.
Yeah, exactly.
Family. We stayed with Sherv for, I think, a week.
You have another family here in Europe. Yeah, you know that.
We ate real traditional Scottish food, and I didn't get a cheesy gordito there, man. I was feeling ripped off, Thanks, Sherv. Next time I get a cheesy gordito.
So, Bob, we will continue with a question with all of fun.
The glasses right there. The glasses I put on Huey Lewis. You want to hear that story?
A lot of fans told me that. How did you get involved in Back to the Future? How did you get involved in the movie?
How did I get what?
How did you get involved in Back to the Future?
We interviewed for it because we had done. We ended up getting stuck at Universal. When we did Legal Eagles, we came in with Bob Redford, but we interviewed at Warner Brothers. We went, yeah, we're finally off Universal's lot. We get to go to Universal, see some different prop masters and other, technicians and craftsmen and work out of different departments and different stages, and being kind of a roving guy. I've always kind of lived on the road. My mom bought a new house every 2 years. So I went to 3 or 4 elementary, 3 or 4 high schools, junior highs. I was 13 schools before I got out of high school alone, and then 3 colleges. And so I've always kind of lived on the road and moved. And we're going, yeah, we're finally off the lot. Yeah. And then it ended up back at Universal. And so that kind of got us an in for what was going on at Amblin, down at Stevens, right there at the bottom of Universal, the Amblin production offices. So that kind of got us an interview there. And we got our first film there, which would have been Harry and the Hendersons. After doing the Psychos, Tony brought us back. And Not the first Psycho. I'm not that old, even though I'm over 70. I'm not that old. But so we went in for an interview with Bill Deere, who actually was a great director. He was great friends with Michael Nesmith from the Monkees. He did all of Michael Nesmith's music videos. Who Mike Nesmith, if you didn't know from Monkey, is considered to be, hey, nice cat. Michael Nesmith is considered to be the father or grandfather of music videos. He kind of created them. And Bill Deere was incredible. And we got along really well. And that kind of got us the interviews to go in. I would say 20, maybe 30 prop masters interviewed just for Back to the Future. And we were called in, we were brought back. And then that was kind of a shoe-in for the rest of them, you know, because we had done so well on the first one. Our department, you know, we had the stuff. And Bob's a dreamer, you know, both Bobs. And the newspapers alone, we probably, I'm going to say 12 or more for everything you saw printed on the screen. We did a dozen different ones because the timeline
has to be sure to have the right one and to have
right. They didn't have computers today. Bob Gale was dealing with JPL, Jet Propulsion Labs, up in Pasadena. Actually, it might be a little farther up in the house by my dad's old house. And he had blackboards in his office all the way around the office, all three walls. So you come in the door to his office and a blackboard would move and then you push it back and he had all the timeline working out. So he'd get to one that was working and we'd make the newspaper. And 2 days later, we'd get beeped and I'd go up at lunch and go, oh, the timeline was off by a day and an hour. So we got to make a new newspaper. And so when you get those, you keep them till the end of the show. But, you know, you never kept them after that because they were never made the show. You kept them till we know we have a print. But one thing that does bother me anymore, and I know people are stuck at home with their 4K TVs that are bigger than our house, you know, and everybody's nitpicking. The timeline's wrong. It should have been this. No, it's not. It's Bob's timeline. It ain't your timeline. You didn't write it. As my good friend and our good friend Jeff Tucker says, sometimes I watch the movie and it's perfect because it's no one else's timeline. If you broke down any H.G. Wells stuff, you'd come up, oh, this isn't right. It's right for H.G. Wells stories, you know. Exactly, yeah. Our timeline's perfect for the time. And if you don't nitpick it and freeze it and you watch it, like Jeff says, you just watch it.
And you really enjoy to watch it on movie. Yeah, 35 years after. A lot of people have fun when they watch Back to the Future. It does seem an old movie. It's, wow, realistic. Wow, you want to play?
Yeah, it rolls along. And this brings me I've told you everything we talk about. I mean, you know more about me than you and Nancy. You know, it's like, actually, and Indy Shaw McFly, I've got to put us out because there's times I can't reach you. I go, Indy, I either call him and he's at the fire station. He's a fireman. I go, hey, you got a second? I'm screwed up. What does this thing do? Or I send him a picture and he calls me. No, that was in part 2. No, that was in part 2.
I describe it.
Now I know how to advertise it and sell it. You know, it's like, because if I put it up wrong, everyone goes, what are you talking about? That ain't part 2. Part 1 or the original. But
good memories.
One of my favorite stories on the first one was at the screening because there's very few of us on the show that actually read the script other than head of a department. Like wardrobe people have to because of the continuity, props, of course, set decorator, and the lead man. The crew gang doesn't have to unless they want to. But you have to know everything, you know, in the continuity. Sure. And what wasn't in the script was at the very end of Back to the Future. Now I'm going to get goosebumps on my arm. I guarantee it when I tell this, because there's moments in your life that are just special. And this was, we're at the screening. I'm about 4 rows up on the aisle, and Bob Zemeckis is down about two rows on the right side on the aisle. And at the very end of Back to the Future, because this wasn't in the script, no one knew this. When the DeLorean comes up in the script, it just sped away. Marty, it's about your kids. And when that thing froze and those wheels popped up and took that beat, what we call a beat, and sped off, you can see the goosebumps. Can you see them? And the hair standing up. I jumped out of my seat and went, yeah! And Bob Zemeckis turned around, like down low, and went, Bobby! And there he is, both arms, goosers right there. That to me was a perfect end because you're kind of sad. You wish you were back on it at this point because the money was good and it was special, and you miss all the people you're seeing again for the first time in a year. because you don't see
Yeah.
people again. You're with a different crew on your next project. And
Always when it's a
just
success.
summed it all up, for me.
Mhm.
But I never thought it would be, of all my feature films or my commercials I did or my TV shows or my sitcoms, I never thought it would be the one people wanted to talk about, because until Kevin brought, maybe 1985, when we all got together there at Universal, and this thing just started expanding. And of course, Michael is the catalyst behind this all with Parkinson's and the Fox Foundation and Go Team Fox. I never thought, nor would it have without Michael, or 1985 when it all started. And I always thought it was going to be Scarface, because when I tell any of these people, say, oh, what movies did you work on? Well, I did, and Scarface. Oh, tell me about Scarface. And they do all the lines from it. Fuck Gaspar Gomez and the Diaz brothers and all that other stuff, But it's been pushed back now. Nobody talks about Scarface. Some gangbanger with his hat on sideways and his pants hanging down, But it's that's what makes us the greatest film fan family in the world. It's Michael and folks like you and Harry and Oliver Haller, who have taught me compassion, and my wife, of course, who got me involved in it, and how to be charitable. So, yeah.
A family. We're all a family. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Be so gentle with all the people, all the fans.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, a little question. I love this one. It's about a little quiz. It's a little quiz. Let's do a quiz. Dangerous, Bob. Are you really dangerous? You're famous. You're
According
dangerous.
to Steven Spielberg, according to Steven, I was. I've told this story. If you've been to 1885, Terry and Oliver Haller's get together, or any of the Comic Cons I do here or in Europe, like Tim's Con is coming up next year in Oxford, 2-day gig, man, right by the college. Tim's Con is going to be a really big, by Zay and her family. Every day we were behind on Back to the Future. The lighting sequences, Bob is very complicated, the lighting, and Dean's one of the few DPs, in my opinion, that could have lit it in the time he did. And Bob would go, your prop set, and come sit down and tell me a story about the 60s. And I always thought maybe he's researching another script, but it's always the eras, you talk to older folk, And so I'm telling stories about the Grateful Dead and, the Rudy stuff and the girls in the rooms and just all the stuff. And I'd always tell him, I said, but Bob, I'm sad because I vanished for almost 4 years out of my mother's life. She didn't know where the hell I was. And when I would come home and call her from my house in Santa Cruz or on a payphone, she'd be crying, where were you? We didn't have cell phones. And for all the pain I put it through, I'd always, in the things I tell Bob every day when he let me sit down and tell him the stories, how much I hurt my mom. And that's one of the biggest regrets of my life still. So he'd tell Steven at night at the dailies these stories I told him about the 60s, and all this insanity into the 70s, and just, some really stupid stuff. We shouldn't be alive, or we should be in prison, all of us, and still be in prison. But he'd tell Steven, and finally Steven said, that guy's dangerous. He goes, no, he's really not. He's got all this regret about his mom and how he hurt her, and he's really a great guy. And I would say 2-3 weeks in, before we shot that scene at the high school, Richard Nixon's high school, by the way, only thing I ever tagged, he came down to the set. We heard Steven's coming down to the set, and we thought the show was going to get canceled because we were over budget. There was no money in the show. There's just no money. And he came down with Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy, and they lined up with Dean Cundy and the two Bobs. And he looks around and goes, is Robert Whidden here? I go, oh, no. I go, yeah. He goes, come here. And I go, Steven is a taskmaster, greatest guy you'd ever want to work for. But you screw up, you're going to hear about it. So I figure one of my props didn't match, or my continuity was screwed up or something. And he goes, get down on one knee. He goes, I've heard the stories. You're dangerous. And he tapped me on each shoulder and said, from now on, you're dangerous, Bob. And that's going to be your screen card from now on. A couple weeks later, we're shooting high school, and Bob Zemeckis goes, we're almost set, waiting for Michael. We've got it all rehearsed out with Bobby, the stand-in, another great guy who I love seeing every year up at 1885. And he goes, go spray Dangerous Bob on the wall right there. I go, seriously? I've never tagged anything in my life. Paint was too expensive. When I was a kid, you put it on your models, Plus, that was like way too malicious. Your parents would kill you if you got caught doing that stuff. Okay. And that's really what got us involved in this. My wife started seeing people asking online, who's Dangerous Bob on the high school. And that was how many years ago? 6 years ago or more? Oh, no, more than 6 now. This is 2020, isn't it? Jesus. Anyway, hey, I'm 75, man. I can't
Incredible, but so young, so young.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I hope I sum that up. I'm going pretty fast here, but I hope I sum that up, how I got the nickname. And he said, that'll be your name, your screen credit name on all your feature films. And when I did Legal Eagles with Ivan Reitman, he came up to me at the rap party. Ivan came over, and he looked me in the eye and held his hand out. And I wouldn't shake it at first. And he goes, tell me why I got to spend $500 to put Dangerous Bob instead of your name. Pay that extra money for your name. I said, Ivan, I don't care if you do or you don't. You explain it to Steven Spielberg, who said that's going to be my screen credit. And I got it from Legal Eagles. So when Steven speaks, people listen. Even Ivan.
Dangerous Bob, finally. Excellent. Wow. Yeah. And for that reason, we could see the name of Dangerous Bob in many scenes in Back to the Future. For example, in the wall of the high school, sprayed in the entrance. You remember that scene? On the board also, the board where Doc is writing some theories about time travel. So if you look with details, the movie, you could see Dangerous Bob everywhere because you were everywhere with your props and with all the work you've done in the movie, Bob. So, so now another little question. I don't know up to which one will it be. Yeah, this is stories about. So, what's the story about this one? Oh, Michael J. Hart.
Yeah, made by Stetson for the wardrobe department. And I was given one or something at the end of the show, and somewhere along there, someone gave it to me. And yeah, made expressly for Michael J. Fox. I sold it to a great collector.
Wow.
Yeah, they're Stetsons. You can still get that model. They make virtually every hat they've ever made. You can still get them, but you can't get that one, of course. So that was a great, I can't remember the person's name, nor would I give it to you if I could. I can look it up, but the person that owns that is Money in the Bank. That was a young person. Like
great investment, sure.
Yeah, it's money in the bank right there. It's a one-of-a-kind kind of deal, and it'll put your kids through college in 20 years,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So story time, which is what's the next?
Pardon me.
The next thing. Oh, the next is the Fallback and the Black Election. Some cool things. So in part 2, in the future, you invented those things, and there is a little funny story about this pizza because you told me that, but I want people to hear you about this story, Bob.
Well, we had the Pizza Hut. Oh, I need to back up. The pizza bags, the size Bob we talked about in production and in his office, he did like this. I measured and wrote on a thing and showed him a square, and he goes, yeah, that'll be perfect. And then we'll put little pizzas in there. We're going to have a Pizza Hut gourmet crew that goes and does their commercials. They bring their own kitchen ovens, all their stuff. They're come onto the stage, and they're the ones that'll go like to the beach and serve pizzas to people to push their line, advertise. And kind of like the In-N-Out burger truck does that, kitchen. And so I had the bags made, and Bob loved them. And said, yeah, those will work. Well, the day of shooting, I had them make up. Those were real pizzas. The little ones were real pizzas. And they had exactly the same things on them, real little pieces of the meats and everything. And so I went to him and showed him. He goes, picked the size he liked, went in the bag, and he goes, oh, the bag's too big. I want it to really look just like when that big pizza comes out, everything was just smaller. So I go, I was breaking for lunch at the time. And the beauty of if you break for lunch, it's usually you have to eat in 6 hours, you're on meal penalty. So they break. They're trying to keep meal penalty down because we've been going on it a lot, and that really puts the budget over. And I go, do you authorize me to work through lunch to try to shrink these? If my heat sealer, if I can cut them down to fit this little pizza you want, if I can cut them right down, the silver on the sides up to the logo and get it to stick. If not, I'll try gluing it. I only have like 30 or 40 of them. Let's see if I can get it to work. are you authorizing me to work through lunch? He goes, well, yeah. So that put me on meal penalty for the next 10 hours for the rest of the day. That's like an extra $50 an hour. So that was a lot of money. But I actually got my heat sealer out. The electricians had to bring me a line, a 120, because everything's DC on the stage. I need an AC line. And I burn out pencil sharpeners when they brought me the wrong line in the past. So you double check it with a fan. Okay, that works. And I actually shrunk them down, and they sealed, took them to them at lunch, showed them. He goes, that's perfect. And they made me about 20 more little pizzas, and they made 20 big ones cooked. And we came back from lunch, and I was behind the wall with one of Kevin Pike's effects men. I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry. And I've got furniture pads down to sit on. And she opens that up, puts that in, and that we take that out. And he puts the A and B, or I think he put the A and B solution on it, which is illegal to use on the stage, but you do it. And that makes it smoke. And then I shove the one back in. And he goes, okay, let's do it again. I want it faster. We did it 10 times faster. And the one time I was just hauling buns on it, the pizza just hit the floor. It didn't even make the thing on the back, the tray. And I go, okay, that pizza's on the floor, so let's stop. We had to back up. I had to get up, go get her another pizza bag, make sure it was sealed, hand it to her, go sit down and go, I'm ready. And I did it 15, 18 times, before we got it just shoved out there quick enough. And the reason you don't see him eat the pizza when it hits the table, because it probably would have killed him or made him sick, because it had so, we had to kind of, you can't eat the pizza though, Bob. They can't take a bite till you do a cut, and we put another one down, But I'm going to say 18 times minimum that we did that scene before that pizza got out fast enough. I had those pizza girls making pizzas, and then I had to make like 30 or 40 more. Everyone went home on the crew with a pizza, I think, that day too, when we finally wrapped. I had stacks of them over there. So it was a fun day, busy.
So.
And that was within that week or two when we had Jeffrey flying upside down. Jeffrey Wiseman, who I'll say this right now, we were blessed to have him do it over Crispin, because it would have been a disaster. Crispin, it would have been difficult. Jeffrey was tortured. I mean, tortured on that, literally. And he's just such a pro, So, yeah. Does that answer that?
No, Kevin, authorized to work through lunch, the Dangerous Bob story. Authorized to work through lunch, the Dangerous Bob story.
Authorized to work through lunch, yeah. So the end of that is a week later, the production, I had over $500 in meal penalty. And the production manager came to me and goes, why did you go talk to Bob? He had me do these pizza bags, And he goes, well, and the government gets on him, because someone gets injured when you've been out, you haven't eaten in it looks like on paper for 12 hours, and someone gets injured. The government is like all over that production company. And so they don't like seeing meal penalty, especially if someone breaks their back or something, And so he comes up to me and he's going to give me $200. He goes, I got two $100 bills. I said, after taxes, that'd be about $400. I'll take 400. He goes, I'll give you 3. I said, that's a deal, because that's about actually what it would have been after taxes. And so I got three $100 bills for that. And he took the meal off my card, and I was ahead of the game, Get that going. So, yeah. I spent it on alcohol and women,
Oh my God. So now this one is also very interesting, because as perhaps some of you know, there were not one but 2 cars used for the scene, one with a roof and another one without, something like that. Bobby, could you explain us? It's a very interesting story, this one.
Yeah, we had 2. They could only find one transportation, and the one that is used a lot, not the one that hit the manure truck, that was the original Ford with a real American-made, with a real convertible. The other one we used a lot for camera mounts and things, hoverboard things when he's on the side and this and that, just drive-bys. Biff coming out of the garage at his mom's house. That was from Mexico. All the gauges are in kilometers. And the top, Kevin Pike's and his effects wizards cut that top off and made a fake convertible top covered there. And I
Wow.
remember in the garage picking up the tonneau cover and looking at it and go, oh man, wow,
Transform it in a-
there and everything, you know. It's like, not that it's going to ever be put up, but he actually put a frame instead of just cutting it off and putting the top on, you know, the tonneau cover. It was pretty bitching, really, you know. But the only thing is you never saw the gauges because they were in kilometers, but you didn't need to when it was over the shoulder for Marty in the back seat and things. Thank goodness. But the one that hit, this might be the story you want. The one that hit the manure truck, it bent the frame. And one of our effects men, who was a House Universal guy, I don't know if it was Dennis or his brother. There was two brothers that had been there. They spent their whole careers at Universal, making things in the shop and going out on shows. They were real wizards too. He bought it. And when we did part 3 in the Biff Museum, they wanted it. He said, I want $50,000 insurance policy on it. It took him a year just by the time he straightened the frame, ground off restoration. His wife had been in the drapery department at Universal all her career. Another genius and could recover it. She recovered that whole car, all original stuff, you know, top, fabric, everything, and carpeting. And he straightened the frame and then cleaned that up, painted it, made it rust free. And it took him 1 year to put the black paint on it. He'd come home, his wife told me, and just sand off the primer and put another light primer on, come back 3 days later. And I've never to this day, and I've had a lot of hot rods and I've been to a lot of car shows and things. I've never seen black paint when that was in the museum. And you would look in it and you could not see the bottom of that. It went forever, man. It's like space. But he wouldn't rent it. They wouldn't give him. They said, so Lou Wasserman, even though we're an Amble fan, called him up, the head of Universal. Said, I think it was Dennis. He goes, how long you work for me? He goes, okay, here they go. Yeah, my whole career, sir. Okay, here's what you're going to do for me. Yes, sir, what is that? Basically, it was, we're going to put it in the museum. We're going to have a guard on it 24 hours a day. And I guarantee you it'll come back in the same shape that you put it out there. He goes, okay, that's a deal. And so that's why you only see it in the museum, because they were too afraid to hurt that thing. You know, it was a lot of money. And
yeah, sure.
The guys that own it now are the ones that own Doc's, not a Hudson. I owned one. I had a 59 Doc's convertible Packard. Sorry, I had a 59 black and yellow back in the 60s. Yeah. So that same family owns. I think the Shays is it. I think they own them both now. Yeah. So great people.
Wow, incredible story. Wow. I'm sure a lot of people didn't knew this one. So let's see the next story time.
Pardon me. Our smoke is back. The fires have kicked back up here in Hooterville and our Trinity Alps and things. The fires have kicked back up because the humidity's so low. It's hotter than heck out here for us. And the fires and the smoke came back in today and it's already affecting us. So sorry about coughing. Pardon.
Very welcome. No problem at all. This one of your famous story, because you made the plate. You made this plate and you made during a meeting with Bob. So it's incredible how did this idea of this licensed orange plate came in the movie. It's very incredible. So let's say a little word about it, Bob.
Well, thank you. I've told this like at the cons and in 1885 and things, and but this also answers my French friend who is so fantastic, one of your good buddies, Sebastian Laurent. He asked me, he said, what's the most prop I'm the most proud of? Well, up until this license plate, it would have been the rocket launchers on Scarface. We had to make those. Nobody had ever used a rocket launcher on an M16, which we had AR-15s with an M16 Sear. No one had ever used those in a film before. And so the government wouldn't even give us anything that we could make it off of. We could, measure. So we bought a Jane's military book, and with micrometers, we did everything up to that. And we built these rocket launchers. And that was my proudest prop in my life, and everyone you've seen since then, like on A-Team and all the shows, that's the ones we made, Johnny and I made, So, now it's a license plate. And the reason is, it's because of my mom is the reason I got to make that plate. It wasn't in the script. Script was he comes back from the future, he takes off. So the day we're shooting was also the day I talked him out of putting all the garbage that I had bags, in a bucket of just this crap. that was in the script. He just wanted grunge. And I'm using clean stuff that you ended up seeing in the movie for the rehearsals. And I went to Bob, we're breaking for lunch. We're going to shoot all this. And I stopped, Bob, I need to talk to you. He goes, what? I said, and we're looking at the DeLorean there in the driveway. And I said, number one, if I use this garbage, I open it, I goes, oh, Jesus. I go, yeah, we use that. It's going to be 30, 40 minutes till we get the DeLorean clean, let alone how many suits do they have? Because he's going to get grunged up. I said, or can we keep using the stuff we're doing, the Miller can, the clean stuff? Yeah, let's use. But he's looking at the DeLorean and he's like this. He goes, oh my God, Bobby, it just dawned on me. Can't be driving around in the future with a 1985 license plate. What can we do? Now we're breaking for lunch. So what am I going to do? Meal penalty again? Yeah. And I go, you know what? I just read my mom every year gives me a subscription to Science Digest magazine. She goes, what do you want? I said, Mom, I want underwear and socks because I'm guys single, don't buy that. So she gives me gadgets. Okay, cool. You know, when I was a kid, I asked for gadgets and I got underwear and socks. But all of a sudden, and so I go, I just read this thing a month or so ago about this new thing. It's going to have all these bars on it. Yeah. And police will have them on your license. They'll scan it. And grocery stores, and they'll tell you everything about you. And the cash registers will do this and that. I said, if you authorize me and our standby painter, who is a real artist, Jimmy Passanante, to work through lunch, I'll come up with something. He goes, yeah, okay. He doesn't care.
All right. Deal.
So Jimmy, I get your Mylar out, and I pull out a plate we're never going to use, a metal plate, you know, a real one, and just a nondescript, what we call nondescript. Mm-hmm. And he hands me up. I said, give me see a picture of it. Yeah, orange, right? Hands me some orange, and I cut out letters, and I shake some spray 77, and he sprays that on, and then I start just cutting out things, you know, with
things like a
ruler and this, and hand them to him, and he's spraying them, and our fingers are all screwed up, and I'm helping him hold stuff down. We're smoothing it off. They're curling up, you know, in the heat, because you got to hold them longer, and we're trying to get this done in like literally 40 minutes. And finally, we get this one done, and I'm talking to Bob. I clean my hands now. Yeah, and there it is. You look just like a prop master, especially with the jerseys, you know. Rick Young, the prop master, and I on Fame, we invented that look. And we made it famous at MGM, the old MGM. And all of a sudden, the drivers are wearing jerseys behind their T-shirts. Then we had our Hawaiian shirts on with them. And you didn't need a jacket, you know. And so I came and showed that to him at lunch, on the location there on the table. I go, that's perfect. So now I call Johnny. I have the ADs beep Johnny because he's out probably doing newspapers because they're always changing and other stuff. And I said, you got to get down here. I got to show you something. We got to get them made. This thing ain't going to last. And I go and I double face that. I think I double face it. Yeah, I didn't want to cut through it on the back of the DeLorean. And Johnny came out there to the location, you know, in Sylmar a couple hours later. And I go, okay, see that plate? We're going to have one. When we finished with it, we knew we weren't using it the next day. He took it over to Earl Hayes. And within, by noon the next day, we had the metal ones made. So, which have become famous now. And we actually have some shirts left for the Fox Foundation. A few left on there, the first run. And along with the Paradox, which all profits go directly to the 88 Mile Per Hour Association in France till the end of the month or longer until we sell them. And also, I think didn't I say I was going to throw in a bracelet from a 50th anniversary of Stunts Unlimited from my buddies, stuntmen. And for the first 5 is all I have, and 5 decals for your truck, your mirror, or just in a case. Hard to get, you know. And then they sent me those for auctioning off to make money.
Put those decals.
What's that?
Put the decals.
Stunts Unlimited.
Wow.
And you peel it off. I've got them on my truck, and then the 50th anniversary of Stunts Unlimited.
Very nice. And
Walter Scott, our stunt coordinator, you know, on Back to the Future, he drove the cars, you know, and the Jeep that pulled Marty.
Oh, yeah.
And then that doesn't come with the Hill Valley High ring, though.
Yeah.
And so I'll throw the first 5 people that buy the Paradox shirts. I will throw one of those in. And then, as you know, I always throw in some script pages and a few pages from a storyboard. Make it worth their while. Newspaper from 1885 or something, you know, the reproduction.
don't wait and go to the dangerousbob.net website and go for it.
Thank you. Yes.
No problem.
Nancy
So
does.
now, Bob, if you could have a time travel machine, so let's put the question. If you could go through time with the DeLorean, when and where? As you could see in the photo, you were famous with the porn star guy. Wow. And I record you on TV, Bob, Back to the Future. So, wow, what a celebrity, huh? I was very happy to see you on Friends.
Well, thank you.
Friends.
They're good, charitable guys. If we could just get Corey and his dad to quit smoking cigarettes, it'd be a lot better.
So, when and where, if you have the possibility to go through time with the DeLorean time machine, have you somewhere a period on which you were happy to go?
Yeah, I personally would go back and watch Jesus walk on water or whatever he did. Turn loaves into fishes and blood to wine. I don't know. But I think I would like to walk around with Jesus for a while and see what he's going on, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, probably the future to see how my kids or grandkids turned out. My kids are great. They're really great professionals, but they're so square. I was kind of hoping the grandkids would be kind of cool and hip, you know. My kids are great, but they're just so square. I shouldn't have long hair. I shouldn't ride Harleys. I shouldn't have surfed. It's like, shouldn't have a beard. Good kids, but I was kind of hoping grandkids would be kind of hip, so I'd like to see that. Kind of like dogs. Marty, it's about your kids. But it's about my grandkids, you know. Did they turn out to be cool, you know, have a little hippie in them, you know? It's like, so probably not, yeah.
Let's do, nice ring from Sebastian Llorente. Yeah.
Nice did you hear me? Hi, Sebastian. He's such a great friend. Can't wait to see him next year, along with everyone else.
Said nice ring, and Emmanuel, I hope to see you soon, Bob. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably next year. If the COVID period let us make a meeting, probably next year. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. And now, I love this photo. I love this photo because you are with the Back to the Future. What's the English name for that? The
clapboard.
The cardboard. So you're with a cardboard, and this one is one photo I love a lot, and we made together signature on it for our friends in Japan of 88 Mile Per Hour Association in Japan, and it was a huge success. Raising fund, we have raised a lot of funds with this photo for Team Fox. So that's the reason I've put it there, asking you, what is your best souvenir on the set of Back to the Future?
Well, I have very few left. I have the lab coat we're going to be putting up for sale. It's the one that Dennis, which was in the photograph at the insane asylum or the sanitarium, that his stand-in is actually wearing it. That was Chris's stand-in, but he's doing the photograph. One of the newspapers. Indy told me which one it was because I forgot. But we're going to be putting that back up. Or is it on there now? It's not on now. We're going to put, that's one of the ones we have left. We have like you're auctioning off one of the Hill Valley. We have a bunch of these going on. The Hill Valley, original Hill Valley Fish Under the Sea, we called it. Dance ticket.
Let's
you're auctioning one.
Yeah, exactly. It will be in auction tonight. Yeah, it will be in auction.
Good. And Mitch will get in touch with me, whoever wins it. And I will be sending Mitch a COA, Dangerous Bob COA, to authorize to protect your investment, that it isn't original down the road. It wasn't a reproduction, because all this stuff anymore with computers, all easy to reproduce. And without a perfect provenance on it,
but those one were original. They were original in very mint condition, because you kept them.
I was blessed. One of them was beat up, and then I got one that was good. You know, the rest were good. It was on the bottom of them all, and at one of my prop tubs. Yeah. But you always get a COA that will protect your investment for people that are trying to bootleg this stuff. I gave out at the Fish Under the Sea dance in 1985 that Kevin and I met at, Kevin Bosch, and I gave out a bunch of call sheets, Eric Stoltz call sheets, and I stamped them Dangerous Bob on both sides so no one could, and told everyone this is a reproduction, but no one's seen the Eric Stoltz call sheet, you know. And about 6 months later, I won't say which prop house, and it was a good one. They sold a lot of my stuff, and I gave COAs for everything, a personal COA that Nancy's created. And someone had it up on there. And I called them up and I said, that's one I gave away. See the Dangerous Bob on both sides? That ain't one of them. And they took it down within minutes. Somebody tried. I don't know who it was. I wish I did. But it's water under the bridge. But someone tried to sell that off as an original call sheet, which I've sold some. Yeah, I had a couple of those. I think we sold those, the Eric Stoltz ones? The originals?
I think so.
I think we've sold them. If not, I have a few left, I think, too. Those will go up. The few I have left, we can put up for the Eric Stoltz. And if you get one of those or the lab coat or any of this other Hill Valley, the Chapman Under the Sea tickets, we'll send. We always send along a lot of other, like Mitch bought my script, the Back to the Future script. I got the script. When I was at his house last year, he puts it out on the table, and I'm going through, and I'm seeing all these notes, and he'll tell you, he'll put up something. Oh, and a lot of them are rambling. I'm going surfing. I need to buy a new surfboard.
Paperwork and Back to the Future. Yeah, I could put a bibliothèque behind me with all your paperwork in Back to the Future.
It was like when some other department head was talking about something that was boring the heck out of me because it had nothing to do whatsoever with what we were doing. I just went into it. What am I doing this weekend? New surfboard. Oh, no, wetsuit. It's like, maybe I should look at that hot rod or that other Harley. All these notes. I go, this doesn't sound like a professional prop guy here. He's kind of rambling in a production meeting. But I'd forgotten so much when I got to go. Oh, that reminds me, Mitch. Didn't you buy Biff's gun? Didn't you get Biff's gun from Future? Yeah. It dawned on me watching the show the other day. I used to take that out on the weekends. When we had on the show, we'd take them out on the weekends and shoot them. I took that out and shot it with real rounds, and then take it up and clean it up before you bring it back, as Johnny saw it.
Wait a minute, I will show you this one. Just wait here for a minute. All right.
I forgot. I shot that out on the desert many times. We go out, all these other prop masters on the weekend, we'd bring all these guns from our shows and our pickups. Just the whole bed of the truck would just be loaded with handguns and M16s and ARs and Uzis and Mac 10s and 9s. And we just blast the crap out of stuff, And I forgot to tell you, I actually shot that with real live rounds before you bought it. During the shooting of the show, sorry, my mustache isn't quite right. But I meant to tell you that. I've never told you that before. So here he comes. And by the way, it shot really good.
Up and here it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
It shot really good. I mean, of course it did, but did you have to take the firing pin out of it to get it over there?
Yeah, it was very difficult to bring it to France because you have to pass all the rules in America, England, and France to be deactivated.
Right.
So they have deactivated the pistol, and it was up. It's a magnetic support, and it was very difficult. It's still running.
Yeah, the firing.
They have deactivated inside.
Okay. Is the barrel plugged? Do you have to plug the barrel?
Use it. So the barrel is up, so running well, but I wait around something like more than 1 year.
I know that.
More than 1 year
ever. Are you at home? Are you on your garage in your art shop? Are you on your workshop?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went. Yep.
So the firing pin's been removed. Has the barrel plugged at all?
Yeah, the barrel is not removed. They put some things inside.
Okay, they plugged the barrel then. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can take care of that.
More to make it impossible to use. That was the beef pistols.
I've got a guy that could make that work again if you bring it to America. So it come back with 6 rounds in it,
So let's now, I think we have time to play to a game. I love this one. I will show my screen and
Can I tell one more story before we do that? It's about the letters that you see him writing in the ice cream shop or in the mall in Lou's in the 50s.
Uh-huh.
He actually wrote every letter that you saw for me. I aged up the paper with iced tea, because in part one, Michael only drank iced tea. All the Pepsi bottles, cans, whatever.
Oh,
had
with iced tea.
And
Oh.
I'll tell the other story sometime about why he drank Pepsi on that second one. But he wrote, I'd spend lunch. We'd bring our lunches into his motorhome, into his trailer. And he would write a letter, couple letters at lunch while we're eating and talking for that 40, 45 minutes. I get 2 done a day after I got the paper. Took me about 4 or 5 days of aging paper. I spray it in a spritz bottle with water, diluted iced tea, which I used in all his drinks. So every day the caterer made me a big thing of iced tea to fill his things and have fresh iced tea on his props. And every day I would spritz them 10, 12 papers that we're going to use, that paper, and set them in the sun by the prop truck. And I'd age them, take them to buy. He goes, no, I need a little darker. I want a little more over here and a little down here. Finally, after a week, I got it right. And I said maybe 15, 20. And every day I ate lunch with Michael for like 2 weeks. And he would write those out for me until I got enough, for backups and stuff. So when you see the ones, you actually see them. Michael actually wrote those. I aged them.
Oh.
Michael wrote them.
You wrote and you aged? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's an ace. He's one of the few people, my pal Jay Leno, when you see him in an interview, that's exactly who they are in real life. So many actors or people aren't in an interview who they are, the same person. But
etc. But is the same, yeah.
Yeah, sure. John Lithgow is that way, same person. So, yeah.
And very gentle, very gentle.
Very gentle.
Thanks for this true story. Very interesting.
Sorry to cut you off there.
It was with coffee, but no, you age it with iced tea. Wow.
Iced tea. Yeah.
Incredible.
I think I told people in the past it was coffee, but it was iced tea because I always had the big plastic igloo of it on my truck, so I could fill his. I drank it too, to get a lift. Get into sodas in those days. Yeah. It was iced tea, not coffee. If I ever said that to anybody.
Oh, cool anecdote, Bob. So now I will put the banner off about the souvenir, and we could start the cheesy gordito challenge.
The cheesy gordito.
Yeah, the real name is not the cheesy gordita. But when I saw it in the restaurant, I was in a car and I said, "Oh yeah, I want a cheesy gordita." So it was very difficult for me because we drove to the restaurant and the guy said, Bob, I want a cheesy gordito. And now, in fact, it's cheesy gordita, not gordito. But
they had a big picture on the window of it, and it just was gigantic, plastic cheese. Wasn't the butter in France, which you told me wasn't cheese? I was eating butter that year when you were with me. Oh, this is the best cheese I've ever had. You go, that's butter, dude.
Not cheese.
Plastic cheese,
So the game, Bob.
Okay.
The game. I will show you some photos, all right? And when this is coming from America, you could say cheesy gordito, and when it's some photos from France or Europe, you could say champagne.
Oh,
right?
Oh yeah.
So very easy. I will show you some photo.
Good luck with that.
You could put some comment on it, all right? So first, you need to have cheesy gordito or champagne, depending on the location. So firstly, this one. Up. Oh.
Las Vegas at the Pawn Stars studio in the back of the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was last year, not 2 years ago. I don't remember.
2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was for a bidding of an almanac. Yeah, right. With Video Bob, no?
With Video Bob. And a big shout out to Video Bob because he really got us that gig. Nancy researched the prices on the ones sold in the past. And yes, he was unhappy with the value I put on it at the time because that's what we felt with what Nancy had researched, the high and low on just the almanac covers.
Sure.
But he sold that, I'm going to say, not even a year later for a 5 times what I valued that. And he donated a big chunk.
I remember, yeah.
Big chunk. He's one of the best entrepreneurs in America and a very charitable guy.
Yeah, I remember I put all the amount for the Team Fox Foundation. So thank you.
Videos, just I'm blessed to know Video Bob. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, of course, a cheesy gordito, this one.
Oakdale, California.
Yeah. So next one. Oh, this one, very easy. This one, you told
What's
us.
the name of that hotel that you booked us into in Paris?
I don't remember. It was the hotel the day just before going to the Moulin Rouge, I think. Yeah?
Oh no, that's not in Champagne.
That's not in Champagne. This one. No, that's not in
out of that hotel, and you'd think you'd be in Hemingway's Paris, 1920.
Yeah, sure,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and you walk in there, and you're like, "Where am I in LA?" You know.
No, it was just before going to the Moulin Rouge. So Champagne, it's a
That's
French
in
hotel.
Champagne, France. And I got to tell you, Mitch had this set up. We went there, and all these folks had their DeLoreans I signed, and this and that. And I walk in, and I'm wearing a Harley T-shirt, shorts, and I might have had slaps on. And I was not only in Champagne, but all of France that day. And I'm overdressed here like that.
Yeah, thank you. So, this one, very interesting with you.
Okay.
Very cool, this one. So
Those are the glasses with Huey Lewis. The guy on camera right, which would be Huey's left, that's Joe Falsgraf, who was my assistant on many days. We needed him that day. He was just breaking into the union. We met him in Ohio on Brubaker. He was a Teamster there for us. And we kind of got it. We got him in the union and gave him his days when we could hire him. And that day we had all that. I had a whole truck full of musical instruments, amps, all the stuff, drum sets, all the stuff we had to set up, and the rest of all this props. And at the last minute, Bob said, "Let's put glasses on Huey." Now, when you're around Huey, he's always got his manager with him. And he's like got a checkbook under his arm, a big checkbook. And so I take them both out to the prop truck, and I'm opening up my drawers. And of course, you're going to show up like 5 drawers of regular glasses, all different frames, and some are prescription, some are clear. Oh no, here are the sunglasses. And I start opening drawers, and his manager goes, "I like that pair." Huey goes, I open 3 more drawers of sunglasses. He goes, "I like this pair." So I let them each pick a pair, and I pick 3 pairs. They go, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got to give Bob a choice." And I put them all on a tray. And I said, "Here's the pair he's going to pick. I'll bet you $20. And I pointed to the pair, and the manager said, "He's going to pick my pair." Huey said, "My pair." I said, "I bet you $20 he picks that pair." I said, "Come with me." And Bob's looking at them all. I said, "Here they are. I pick some, Bob. Huey picked some, and his manager picked some." I can't remember his name, Bill or whatever. And he picked up one pair and said, "I'll use this pair." And his manager looked at me and started to turn around. I grabbed his arm. I said, "You owe me $20, dude. You owe me $20. You owe me that 20. And to this day, I wish I would have framed that 20. Like I have a check from Paul Newman, I have a check somewhere from Paul Newman for some bad popcorn I got once, and I have that framed. And but I always wished I would have saved that 20, but I'm sure I spent it on some girls in a disco or something,
Oh my gosh. So next one.
And you're just too darn loud.
Oh
my God. Now I know where this is.
I remember, yes.
Nancy France? Is this Nancy France?
Exactly, yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Nancy.
Oh, and there's Emmett Giga.
It was Nancy. With
the greatest days of our lives.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Should I tell the story real quick?
No.
Okay, no. Okay.
No, yeah, of course.
We go to this town, and it's Louis the 14th buildings? I mean, that's how old it is. And the square is spotless. Everybody's like every other person smoking cigarettes. There isn't a cigarette butt anywhere. He takes us to this little outdoor cafe. There's a fountain out in the middle of it. And we're sitting there, and every other person's smoking at this cafe, and they're using their ashtray. People walk by with cigarettes, and they lean into people with beers, and they go, "Can I use your ashtray?" There isn't a cigarette butt anywhere. Anyway, we're sitting there drinking these red beers, which were like probably 47 ounces of beer that's red. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I see a DeLorean at the other side of this square. And I go and I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden it turned, and I see it's a time machine. And then it turns, and I see my license plate I invented on it. And I jump up and go, "Oh my God, it's my license plate." Anyway, that's when I met Emmett Gigawatts that day.
Yeah, because he was driving the DeLorean. His your license plate. Yeah.
And then Marty was there. Who played Marty again, right? I can't remember.
Guillaume is our president.
Is he the magician too?
Yeah, president of
he's the magician too, yeah. Anyway, one of the greatest days of our lives because we met, 100 people there that came over?
A lot of people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sorry to go back on that, but oh my gosh. Nancy and I'm not kidding you. We talk about that a couple times a month. We really do. Nancy Franz.
It's a great souvenir. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you're welcome. Oh, this one from Arian Anderson. Wow, great movie and great job in this movie, Bob. Wow.
Oh, thank you. That's Kevin Peter Hall, who was a 6'9", 6'10" Shakespearean trained actor. Now, Hannah, he was also the one with Schwarzenegger, out in the forest, I can't remember the name of it right. Anyway, one of the sweetest guys. And one day, Bill Deere set it up where he said, tomorrow, wear some clothes. Because you see, I have a tie on instead of a Hawaiian shirt or a setup like you with a jersey and a T-shirt. And we all got our pictures sitting on his lap. And that was presented to us in a frame at the wrap party. And it was one of the finest. I think we have it on the wall here. Yeah, right there. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
And a postcard in the frame from Terry and Oliver Haller, Terry and Oliver after 1885, thanking me and just saying hello. But on that costume, when you got close to it, they put even larger contacts on them. You couldn't tell it wasn't real. Each hair was yak hair, individually put in. Rick Baker, one of the greatest makeup men ever, and especially for custom things. They put individual yak hair in from behind, and when you look at it, looked just like real hair on your arm, your face, like it had little pores. And other than when they did the servos and the mask went off like this, you couldn't tell it wasn't a real Bigfoot. So that was a real blessing and a privilege to sit on his lap, And Kevin was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
Oh yeah.
He passed away too young. Bless his heart.
Sure.
So that's that story. Thank you.
So welcome.
She's unbelievable.
Oh, before the next image, the next picture, I want to thank someone because he won the auction today. Today it was a great. I don't have the English name for this one. A cacahuete. I don't know the English name of this one, but you put a signature on it, Bob. You put a signature on it.
Peanut.
A peanut. Yeah,
Jimmy Carter
peanut. Yeah, it is a giant peanut, and you put your signature on it. And Emmanuel Gras is a winner. This is a winner for 140 euros. All benefits Team Fox. So thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Of the peanut dedicated by Bob. And thanks for your donation because it's a donation. And we're happy to send you the peanut dedicated by Bob, of course.
Remind me again who sent those to me. He bought them from someone here in America. They sent them to me, and then I shipped them to France. I signed them. And I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, who originally...
I will search and I will put it on the comment. No problem.
Yeah. So what a blessing.
Oh, next one. I know this thing. I know because
I even know where it is.
Yeah.
And the Garcia's living room, family Garcia.
And let me try to do something. I will put the behind the scene SFX now. I will put that, and perhaps if I do something like that,
that's where we're at. The living room. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is the same room.
Nancy's living room and house looked very much like yours till she met me. Now it's just all full of just stuff everywhere. She was very minimalist when I met her, and it was very nice to come here. And then we started emptying out my prop warehouse, and stuff just meandered from the backyard on the shelves to the garage into the house. And now the dining room is just stacked with stuff, and no dining room table. We don't spare bedroom is shelves for our other company, Shane Nancy Dangerous Bob, and which is doing great. But all we have is a bedroom and a couch in the living room, and then our office, so for our sales. But what a beautiful home, beautiful family.
Thank you. And we made a lot of things here for donation these days, and it was awesome to have the possibility to make a lot of signature, and those ones goes to fans and the auctions and the money goes to the Team Fox. So thank you, fans, and thank you, Bob, to permit that.
That
Thanks
was
a lot.
my pleasure. Thank you, everybody that actually donated. That's the important thing.
Next one. Oh, next one. Yeah, this one is, wow, Scarface, of course. One of my favorite movies, Scarface.
That's Scarface, baby. And that actor is one of my, at the time when I was still in LA, one of my friends, Pepe Serna, one of the great Hispanic actors in LA, did the theater groups, and he was a very charitable guy, you know, raised money for all over in the Mexican neighborhoods in East LA. He was a hero, and like Danny is, you know, and it was disgusting when I went to Daly's. He had a fake arm, and I sanded his clothes inside on the sleeves, and then on his leg I sanded and had a fake leg. And we had put so can I tell this story? We'd used McCulloch chainsaws on a lot of shows, and they send them to you, and then I trade them to friends for a gun or a watch or two or whatever, you know, money to go drinking and womanizing at the time. But so we call up McCulloch and go, what are you going to do with him? Well, let's send you the script. We're cutting a guy's arm and a leg off. My liaison goes, are you nuts? No one's going to let you do that. Don't even get one and paint it. The color of a chainsaw is their trademark. And so we bought Daiwas. Had to go back with our budget. We got to buy chainsaws. We kind of didn't budget this because no one wants their arms and legs cut off with their chainsaws, you know. And so we got Daiwas, and I'd have to see the movie again to know what color we painted them, but it was no color anyone else used, so there wouldn't be a trademark thing. And I was on a Hudson sprayer, and the effects guy was on one. And when I would get tapped on the shoulder, I would start squirting as it came through I put a rubber blade on him. So it would still burn through your arm if they hit, you know, it would screw you up and burn right through your skin, but at least it wasn't going to cut you in half. And so I sanded the inside of the shirt real good so you could literally just almost peel it away. And I started when I got tapped, and then the effects guy got tapped, whatever order it was, and we just started hitting that Hudson sprayer, and the blood is just, I mean, and when I went to, and then the leg, just same thing. I'm on one Hudson and squirting everywhere. And I went to Daly's the next day to see it after work, you know, after working 14 hours, because there's always food there too. And I want to see what, and everybody in there, I mean, everybody, the director's secretary, the producer's secretaries, you know, and I think one of the producers had their son there and made him leave the room, you know, and we were disgusted. So what you see in the movie is cut way down because it might pass muster today. But then 1980, it wasn't going to make it, man. They couldn't show that it was, even us knowing it was fake. We got nauseous. It was trying to fall. You could never give them enough gore, you know. So
it was quite different, yeah. In this days. So.
And we were sticky till we got home and showered with all that what is it? The blood is made by 3M blood. It's corn syrup color, and you're sticky till you go home and shower, and you got to take all your clothes off and wash them.
Oh my gosh!
And hot water.
The clothes is
yeah, that stuff's
like one. So thank you. Thank you. I was sorry. Another photo, perhaps the last one. Oh, this one.
I know where that is.
A little group of fans. It was very interesting. I don't remember the name of the bar. It was.
I do. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Because it was the Ends of the Earth bar.
Yeah, exactly. This one. The Ends of the Earth bar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went in Paris, Mitch, all of a sudden a car would show up, spotless. And guys would get out and open your doors dressed suits, and they'd be spotless. Yet you're looking at they were Ubers. Nancy since learned how to do the Ubers from you know, on the phone. And we end up coming to this place and just, I'm talking like 1920s Paris, you know, every great writer was there, you know, and every dancer, Isabel Duncan, you name it, they were there, you know. And we go into this place, and it's about as hippy dippy bitchin' cool as anything you've ever been in San Francisco in the 60s or 70s or some reproduction bar today. And here was, and this isn't even all of our French family that was there. I don't think. I think there was a few more people there at the time. They might have left, but Mitch had the whole room, was one big room booked, and we ate and drank and told stories. What, 3 hours?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
At least.
Oh my gosh! And they just, And the one guy here, look, can you put the picture back up?
Yep.
Heavy set guy, isn't he a voice actor? Was he the voice actor? Right next to McFly there.
No, he's not the voice actor. No, that's another one.
He's an actor, though.
I don't know. I don't remember. I think it's another one. Which
there's Jordan, one of the great artists of France, and this young man right here on the camera left. Oh, they're just all there. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see y'all again. I just can't wait to see y'all again.
It was a great time, but we did also share some great times and memories at this event. This one, you remember this one?
Oh my God, yeah. This last year, well, for 2 years at 1885, we always get there early, a day early, Mitch and I, after I pick them up at Air France in San Francisco. And of course, I'm a craftsman. I'm a labor man. Oliver and Terry and Mitch, they're management. You know, they're above the line. But Mitch becomes a craftsman when we're there. And we built the Delgado mine at 1885 for our night venture there at the graveyard. And of course, no matter how well we made it, we come back an hour later. I mean, what was it? 3-4 hours?
Yeah, 3-4 hours.
Screw guns and just this and that.
Let's try that way. Let's try another way. Let's put it more real also.
And we come back down there, an hour or two after we got done with it after lunch. And whoa, what the hell happened to it? Oliver would go in and he just put some finishing touches on that thing and it would just go, okay, that's what we were supposed to do. You could never do it as good as Oliver could finish it, you know. But
very cool.
Hell, man, you drink a bottle of water every hour there, you know.
Great memories, yeah. And finally, why we spoke about champagne, of course, because you went Moët Chandon and you went inside, with your Harley Davidson shirt. And remember, when we came at Moët Chandon, it was closed. It was closed because they were just closed. And I remember we went there with a DeLorean time machine, and when the owner of Moët Chandon came outside, oh my gosh, is it a time machine? I don't know. And she was so happy that she opened up the store and we came inside, right, Bob?
And I'm feeling she's dressed to the nines, you know, like a corporate owner, you know, and I'm like in shorts and a Harley Davidson t-shirt. I'm like, boy, if my mom was
dog,
oh my God, I look like a slob, you know. But she treated me and Nancy as if we're cousins, you know. And I wanted to buy all the champagne in there, the Jeroboam's, Magnum.
I think she even opened the little door coming through the Dom Pérignon Reserve.
Yes.
So, do you remember?
Into the room there with the reserve.
Follow. I know, right, but get it in the room, and we get inside the room of the Dom Pérignon limited edition of the bottles.
Yeah, I don't think anything in there was under $2,000 American.
Something like that.
Literally. Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah. Incredible story, this one.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, that one. I think that one there was $1,800 American or something. Yeah.
Oh. And this one, of course, because we have to thank a lot of people. Firstly, the fans, because they kept there to watch you, Bob. They kept there to watch you. And tomorrow, as I said, we'll put the Hill Valley Enchantment Under the Sea and ticket for sale. Yeah, this one. I will put up a close-up on you to show up. Yeah, this one.
And if you're really cool, you call it the Fish Under the Sea dance. Nobody calls it the Hill Enchantment Under the Sea dance. It's a Fish Under the Sea dance if you're an insider.
How many did you make of that? Because Bobsy told you to make some for the sedan, but you made some. As you tell, you made dozens of all things. But for this little item, how many times you made it?
I ended up with 20 or 24. Nancy's telling me from the sidelines. Nancy knows more about what we do, what we have than I do. I wrap things and package them, and she does everything. I've got the better part of this deal every day, you know. But,
so very limited, limited.
We have a few left online for those of you that want to buy them, and we kick back to the foundation. But the first one you want to buy is the one today, And of course, what's that?
Bid a lot of money.
Bid a lot of money on that, so you'll set the price on all the others. But also, when you get the COA that Mitch will present you with, it's going to protect your investment. You will never lose money when you want to sell it. You will make money if and when you want to sell it later. You get older, or you need some books for the kids.
It's a great investment. It's a great investment. And with your COA, more investment it is. Yeah, sure.
I think it's a better investment than if you put that money, whatever you pay for it, in the bank to gain interest. You're going to gain more than that, you know.
Totally agree with you, Bob. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
It's crazy, but it's true.
Yeah, sure. At the moment, it's true.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's crazy, but it's true.
And of course, I want to thank all the people who work with me from the ATM Power Association, particularly Amy in Japan, because we're trying to do some other event in Japan, in Tokyo, and Regresa al Futuro with my friend Pedro in Spain, because we also doing some event in Spain, and you could see some presentation of our collection in Spain on Monday, I think. So thank you guys to be with me and to permit this event possible. And thanks to you, Bob, and thanks to all the guests, because you accepted to come here freely, taking time or your private time, and to come to help us to raise funds for the foundation. So thank you. It's a really an incredible thing to come here freely just to help for a good cause. So thanks a lot. And just before leaving, I want to launch another image, which is...
And if I can say one last thing when you get a second.
Yep.
We'll be coming next year to the musical in London with Indy Shaw McFly. We're driving back to his house. We'll be flying over with Indy Shaw McFly and his wife to London for our Back to the Future musical. And then that should correspond within a week or two to Tim's Con in Oxford next year. And I'll be on stage there, as well as with Bill Hargraves. It'll be Billy Bob's show. He was the major prop master, Star Wars, everything in England.
Sure, yeah.
He is a kick in the pants, man. He is so funny and so knowledgeable and witty. And we do a show there, and he mesmerizes people. And I just kind of hang in the background. So that'll be fun. Tim's Con next year in April, isn't it, hun? If everything's right. And that's London. So, and then we'll be heading to France, and then up to Scotland for the family there, the clan. And anyway, thank you. Yeah.
Sure. And we will be happy to welcome you again. No problem, Bob. Thank you.
Excellent.
And so the last picture, because for me it makes sense, but only for me and for you, Bob. Of course, thank you for better received, because
the cake in France.
Yeah.
I can never forget that. I'm at the hotel posting pictures of me spreading that on bread, this homemade bread at the hotel, and going, it's just like coming back. I'll be picking up.
It's cool.
Yeah, my veins clogged up immediately.
So thanks to you, Bob. Thanks for all you have done for me since years, because you helped me a lot with the foundation, and it's always a pleasure to share those memories of Back to the Future with you. I hope all of the people viewing us today are very happy, and I've learned some little anecdotes, because you have so much things to tell, but we need more times to tell of and your knowledge about Back to the Future. But perhaps one day we will try to write a little book about those pieces of history and those stories, those behind the
I'm getting old, That's what Indies wants to do when I go back, is watch the movies with them, and I'll be telling them stories that I'll remember.
Exactly, to have
pass those on. Indy wants to pass stuff like this on.
We will work something out with that.
I want to thank Kevin Bosch, and I'm glad I got to tell him that story about George McFly's Schwinn Phantom that we got from the. So you need to watch that too. That we got from the Schwinn Museum, and had a $50,000 price tag if we lost it, or scratched it. So, and don't forget to get your Paradox shirts. The money profits go to the Power Association, and limited run right now. Our local artist did a great job.
Go there. Go to the dangerous.net, dangerousbob.net, and yeah, that's right. And go for this shirt. It's very cool. A lot of goodies and a good action, guy. A good action for Michael J.
So this is the rest of our day. We're going to go play gin rummy, drink wine, and just have fun in the smoky skies, you know.
Exactly. Let's have fun and let the fun continue.
Absolutely.
Okay, so see you soon, Bob. It was really a pleasure. Thanks for the interview, for your time. Say hi to Nancy. I know she's behind you. Hi, Nancy.
Hey, young lady.
Hi, Nancy.
There's
Hi, Nancy.
a relationship.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, and see you soon, Bob.
I love you. I love you, Maestro.
Thanks. Bye-bye, my friend. See you. So, wow, what very interesting today. Sorry, we take a lot of time, but yeah, Bob has a lot of things to share with us. He's the master who built a lot of things and very interesting stories to share with us today. So, as we said, I will put in auction the ticket about the dance and the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, and hopefully we could raise a lot of money. As Bob said, he will put with a COA from him, sign the COA, and some lot of goodies, of course. So don't be shy. Go on the my Facebook profile to make a donation, to put your bids, and hopefully we could raise a lot of money. Thank you, guys. And again, you could also bid on this incredible painting of Robert Zemeckis, made by our friend Jordan Sumper. So this incredible painting is running. This is still in progress. The auction is in my Facebook profile also. And see you tomorrow with my friend Kevin Bosch. And tomorrow, this is a special edition. We will start at the same time, but we will have two guests, not one, but two. You know the first guest, it will be Maestro Dean Cundey, the most known cinematographer of all time. For me, it's someone very special. And we will start at the French hour, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock tomorrow with Dean Cundey, which is 2 hours after the normal rendezvous. And at 8 o'clock, you could see another guy, but I don't put the name. I kept the surprise for tomorrow. Okay, so two guests tomorrow, one at 8 o'clock, and Dean Cundey, Maestro Dean Cundey at 10 o'clock. Okay, two guests, so be generous in donation with the ticket, and see you tomorrow, guys. Thanks to Bob, thanks to all of you, and keep giving donation in the Team Fox and support Team Fox. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.